welcome back, man.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Nice to see you too. What are we going to be talking about today? I think it'd be kind of interesting to get into the concept of networking. I know a lot of contractors may or may not have, some issues with social status and building a network in their
Hmm.
industry, and the power of connecting. And
Right.
I think it's really interesting that we dive into this. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, let's go for it. Absolutely.
There's the concept of a mastermind group, and I think you know what that is, but I don't know
Hmm.
if you want to share it with the
Yeah, so a
audience.
mastermind is essentially people that are within a group that are like-minded, that are going the same direction. And what good mastermind groups do is they support you and your vision and your dream, right? So I'm in mastermind groups. I have coaches, like everybody that I've seen be successful has a team of people around them, right? So
Yeah,
the whole idea is that you want to put yourself around people and surround yourself with people who have already done what you want to do, right? It makes the steps, it makes all the questions and those moments of anxiety, those not knowing the right answers, you can lean on them in those situations. So when you're trying to grow, all right, and here's the key: growing on your own, just out of the thin blue air, is it's very it's very rare,
hmm,
right? Because and the things that are hardwired into our brain and we talk a lot about is like change management. If everybody was good at change, then we wouldn't have anybody overweight, or like we all struggle with change, right? And it's not comfortable, even if
it's
what
not
we're
comfortable.
doing currently is really hurting us, right? And that's how people get stuck. They get stuck for years because they're afraid of the change, they're afraid of the unknown, they're afraid of the boogeyman that's going to come out. And really the thing they should be afraid of is staying where they're at. And a lot of what these mastermind groups do is give you the proof, right? The
Right.
proof that and it's amazing to happen, because all of a sudden those fears that you have kind of dissipate and go away, because you've seen and you can talk to and you're supported by people who've already done exactly what you're trying to do.
Yep, yep. And you're not doing it alone. And I think
Right.
I think it would be fair to say, like in a mastermind group, you're not out there seeking out people that are like you. You're seeking out and building a group of people that all have different attributes, different things to
Hmm.
contribute to help everybody get better. And it's nice to have that feedback loop when you're out there, and someone you can share your wins with and your losses, right?
Absolutely.
And get that information coming back. But
Hmm.
that being said, we need to be able to get out there, boots on the ground, and meet as many people in our industry, even outside of our industry,
Hmm.
and get some networking down. And I think that's kind of like a tough thing with a lot of people. Like, where do I start? How do I get over the fear
Certainly.
and
So,
the confidence?
so first of all, I think it's intent, right? So we got to have the right intent going into it,
I'll agree
in
with that.
terms of and thinking about our outcomes. So, for example, what I don't recommend: don't go network with your local contractors. Don't do that. All right. First of all, they're probably no further off than you are, and any advice that you'd be seeking from them, I've gotten some of the worst advice from, local contractors, guys in my market, guys. And I remember, when I was coming up, just how horrendous it was. And, again, thinking back on that, I was like, what was missing from, when I started my business was really just, again, is that, that place I could go where, I didn't feel like, I was competing, right?
Yeah.
So the intent there, and now if you're looking to build your business and you want to network with other contractors, there's lots of ways you can do that. But that's more of like, I want to generate leads, I want to do business with these people, and that's a whole other type of networking. And then you have like your local networking, right? So a lot of the times you can get involved with your chamber of commerce, you can be in the
Yep.
community, which I totally support. All right, but again, the point of that is more community, right? Is more, being a part of a network. There is referrals and business stuff, but you're really there again, essentially doing what some masterminds would do in those places. So the only thing that I found that is a problem with the commerce, again, is that there's too much of a variety of people that are not specific to the industry that you're
That's right.
working in. So
Yeah.
again, you're kind of put in as the expert in your particular niche, or And that's fine for some people. Again, if you're in the community and stuff like that, you want to be seen as that. But like when you're trying to really like when you're struggling with something in your business, when really like you're trying to build something, you're going through a big change, those aren't the greatest places to express that and to get support. That's where, again, what we do here, there's plenty of other ones that I'm sure members that are listening in on this know of, right? But those are good. Now, mind you, um, the closer and closer you get to, actually meeting and having discussions, like I feel like that's probably the best way to network in those conditions, is like we still are human beings. I still believe
Yeah.
in like, people to people connection and contact. And just being on a group, for example, that's not going to give you that sincere connection. So again, maybe you know of a mentor, maybe you have, maybe you want to work with us, maybe you want to work with someone else, but do your best to get in person, right? If you want to get the value from it, and they're so worth it. I mean, at the end of the day, you know again, I've been involved in them for many years. I was a part of one this morning, so again,
Hmm.
I use it and leverage it frequently for things I'm struggling with here at the Contractor, and even in J Carter Roofing, there's still things that come up where I know who to go and ask and discuss it with, and it's totally worth it. That's all
Yeah.
I could say.
And I think that's it's an important distinction to make, because you were mentioning like the commerce. That's with
Hmm.
the intent of acquiring business. This is a little bit different. I think what we're talking about here.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
having a network of people that you can experience personal growth with,
yep,
right,
yep.
in business and that sort of thing.
Hmm.
And
And good ones, again, they're not just business. Like the one I was in
that's
this
right.
morning, again, it's a men's support group. Like it's for high caliber men that are in this space, like in the coaching consulting space. But a lot of the discussion is like, again, it's not just business, because we're all killing it in business. It's like all the other things that come with it, right? So I mean, again, you find the one that works best for you. I mean, being a part of your church, being a part of your community, like all these things are important for you, the person, to be balanced, right? And again, this is the kind of stuff that I feel is missing from a lot of guys, especially ones in the hard grind, ones that are working the 6 7 days a week. Like there's no, you don't have that interaction, and it's hurting you,
No, it's
right?
a lonely road, and that's the problem, especially as entrepreneurs or even
Hmm.
tradesmen that are forced to be like entrepreneurs. There's nobody, around you to share your experiences with and to grow and bounce ideas off of. You're,
I agree. I
by
agree.
yourself. And that's what I love about this group, honestly, Jay, and not to, again, shamelessly plug it, but the
Mhm.
fact that there's a space that are contractors, for contractors, a community of people helping each other, showing ideas, sharing, you know, input and that sort of thing. I think like we don't have that in
No,
the contractor community. Nothing that's real, right?
right.
Like nothing that's just a bunch of fake experts and gurus and a bunch of
Yeah,
ads and marketing and that sort of thing. No space
right.
where you're like comfortable to be exposed to this information without feeling like you're being pressured to do something, right?
Right. Yeah,
And I
no,
think it's really cool.
exactly.
And yeah, networking, on social media, and I think it's fair to mention that as well. For us, we're in the tile industry, and on Instagram, we've networked with a lot of other, very very skilled companies out
Right.
there, and we've kind of collaborated our efforts, right? Like, on the
Hmm.
same time, on one side, we kind of, one up each other, but
Right.
on the other side, we communicate and we share. There's no gatekeeping. We share
Right.
ideas and processes and that sort of thing, which makes us kind of grow together. So there's this like power in association
Hmm.
of being associated with, the right type of contractors, attracting the right type of customers, and the right type of people outside of our business get attracted to us as well. So like it's great being a part of the community, and there's many different groups of communities that you can acquire. This isn't just
Absolutely.
one mastermind. There's many different purposes, anything from hobby to business to everything. I think it's really, really important for people to get involved in communities and build them.
Yeah, and again, in terms of like my position on this is like I wouldn't be where I am right now had I not, lowered my guard to experience this, to be honest with you, because there's so many mistakes I've avoided. and so many big, like, big technical things that I've had to work through, and I just can't imagine doing it by myself, right? Like, so again, it's not that I've just come up with things out of the clear blue sky. It's, it's intentional, right? And at the same time, I bet you I've helped just as many people as I've been helped by, right? Because I learned a long time ago, the old school way of kind of gating your knowledge and just, sitting back and thinking that you're the smartest guy in the room doesn't work,
Right.
right? And the reality is, the absolute reality is, there's nobody that's going to come and take the knowledge that you're sharing, including, like, again, even the stuff we share, right? And
Yep.
be able to digest it and steal your position, right? That's a stupid way to look at things.
A
So a
hundred
lot of
percent.
guys resent, like, helping other contractors, where I've always been open to helping other contractors. In fact, I've helped contractors and subcontractors in my own area, all right, become competitive in my market. So, like, why would I do that, right? It's because at the end of the day, we're in a very abundant world, right? And again, you give and you will receive back. It's as simple as that. I mean, if you ever think that you're in a place where there's not enough to go around, I mean, you'd have to be blind, number one.
Yeah,
And at the end of the day, that's a scarcity mindset,
that's
right? And
right.
it doesn't bring you back, the freedom that you want. It keeps you caged. So keep that in mind, for contractors that are really concerned about that, because it comes up, it's talked about, it's said, oh, I don't want to work with them because they know this guy or that guy. I'm like, listen, like, everybody's their own individual. That comes out in your company, and so what, right? At the end of the day, like, there's so much to go around that you would be better off giving that whole your whole business plan to your nearest guy, and at least you guys are working on the same page, and you're going to prevent other bad underpricing contractors from coming into the
Yep.
market. Like, again, like I said, competition only exists in one place, and that's at the bottom. Everyone else after that is collaborating and working together. And if you don't see that now, and you're not able to bring yourself to it, you're going to have a very, very tough time growing your business and growing yourself, to be person, like,
That's the big one right
absolutely,
there. Yeah, yeah.
absolutely honest with you. Like, again, some of the biggest life lessons, some of the, the people that were capable of getting through to me and telling me the things I needed to hear come from these groups, right? And again, I've been told off, I've been, put in my place, I've had to eat shit, like, I've done lots of growing as a man, and being able to accept that has made me a more balanced person for my family and for people around me. Because again, Jay, the contractor, 10 years ago, I mean, he wasn't the greatest guy all round. He'd been, I wouldn't send him out to meet the family, that's for sure, right? So again, these things do pay off, and they do have impact in a lot of different places beyond just your business, right?
Yeah, I love how you were talking about the scarcity mindset versus abundance
Hmm.
mindset, because I think it's pretty powerful knowledge. Once you acquire an abundance mindset, it
Hmm.
goes in tandem with confidence, right? A
Totally.
confident person isn't afraid of losing anything. They're not
No.
afraid. Like, they come from a position of abundance. I mean, what does a confident person do when they stand in front of you? Their body
Right.
language is open, right?
Hmm.
They're vulnerable. They're perfectly
Hmm.
okay being vulnerable. They're not afraid of closing in space, right? There's a lot of confidence in the body language and the way you approach the world when you have an abundance mindset. It goes in hand, right?
Absolutely.
Which is really cool. I mean, to anybody out there, like, questioning, the approach, and I know there's a lot of people that, approaching people is not exactly their game, right?
Hmm.
More of an introverted personality, and we've talked about this before. Jay is taking the approach of seeking advice,
Yep.
right, rather than trying to acquire, business or trying to acquire anything. Is
Hmm.
seeking advice and being okay being vulnerable, because that vulnerability is the abundance mindset,
Right.
right? And
Absolutely.
it's okay,
It is okay.
right? And it's a great way to break the ice,
Yeah,
rather than,
absolutely.
you know
Absolutely. And for guys that are, like, really busy, I get that a lot. And guys that are, again, they have their own world and things going on in it. There's a place for that too, right? So I mean, being active in a Facebook community, being active in a school community, like, again, it's give and take, right? That's what whole community thing is about. And I think if people come in with that mindset of, like, you know I'm gonna give, and I'm gonna ask, and I'm gonna be vulnerable. Asking questions is just as helpful as answering them, in my opinion,
Yeah.
right? So, coming in and asking the right questions, like, again, I've seen it happen, repeatedly, even in our group, where it sparks a conversation, and this guy has that problem too, and like, that's what I see, the online community space really being valuable for. And the response and the conversations that go on afterwards, it does help a lot, right? So if you are passive and you don't have the time to maybe join a full-fledged mastermind or anything like that and dedicate that time to, that's okay. I mean, you can still interact with people and still, show value and be value, right?
Yeah.
By being vulnerable and asking questions. And we totally support it, that's for sure. And there is no such thing as dumb questions, in my opinion. Again, in the contracting world, I've heard everything you can imagine, and there's, I think people put too much time and effort and worrying about what other people think.
People think. Yeah, I
Right.
agree
And
100%.
it's in this space, it's just not necessary. Like, if you're thinking it and it's happening to you, it's happening to thousands of other guys that won't say anything, right?
You've said it to me before. There's no
Yeah.
problem that you have that's truly unique.
That's right. No, and,
Right?
and that's the one kind of point of view that I have after helping, thousands of contractors, literally thousands at this point, and talking to them. What you begin to understand is that, every problem is pretty much the same. All right. And although their business and your business is unique to you, your problems are not, right?
Right.
They've all been solved. They've all been, everyone has gone through them at one point or another. And really, you shouldn't have to worry about that stuff on your own, right? The answers are there. And if you're struggling with something, the mindset needs to be, how quickly can I move past this,
Right.
right? Don't stay stuck. Don't stay, like, that's truly, like, that is the essence of what we want to prevent, right? Being stuck, you can be stuck in the same thing for years. And I mean, I have with my business for a
Yeah.
decade, never getting anywhere, and just, grinding my time, trying to do it on my own, being afraid to ask, being afraid to seek advice, over analyzing things, like, it's just not necessary. Like, when you see like the fact that everybody else is struggling with the same things, maybe they're a little bit, in a different place, maybe their business is further ahead or behind yours, but there's always an opportunity to catch up, and there's always an opportunity to be the leader, right?
Right. I couldn't think of how many, probably $100,000 I've saved just by getting advised not to, like,
Right.
just being around people. Like
For
it
sure.
saves time, it saves money. But this is the
Right.
community that we're in. Like, I encourage any of you, reach out to the community, put a post out, ask questions. There is
Yep.
nothing that you could possibly ask that is stupid.
No.
Nothing that we haven't all experienced, or maybe you could save some of us from experiencing.
That's very true. That's another piece of value you can add. Again, we're always learning new things. I know, learning never stops. And as a market evolves, I mean, we try to share all the upcoming things and to try to share what we're seeing. But, again, anybody that's out there that wants to be active and involved in a community, even if it's just our Facebook group or our school group,
Yeah.
share your knowledge, share your ideas, share your statements, share your concerns, your fears. All those things are how you become a respected member of any community.
Awesome. I don't know if there's anything else that you want to share on that note.
No, I
Let's,
think we killed
let's
it.
leave it there. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Then we'll see you again next week. We'll come up with another great topic. But in the meantime, hope to hear from you guys out in the posts, and share your experiences with us.